Good morning everyone and welcome back to section 2.4, solving multi-step inequalities. I hope you guys have been doing good on sections 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. Today you will probably find easy because we're kind of combining everything together, so a lot of it should be review. So let's get started. Up on the board right now I have a review, so I want you guys to take a couple minutes and do these two. And then we'll go over them in a couple. So let's see what you got. So the first one's done up here. You guys could check your answer, make sure you're going good, and we'll do the second one together and give you a little bit more time. Okay, so for number one, you should have got x is greater than 2. We put an open dot on 2 and we shade to the right, so we know 3 is greater than 2. And for number 2, we have a negative x over 2. Well, how do we get x all by itself? We have to multiply by negative 2 on both sides. And when we do that, this negative cancels with the 2 and the negative, leaving us with x. But remember, when we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to switch this sign around. And then 6 times negative 2 gives us negative 12. What does it look like graphing? We got 12, 11, 13, all negative. Close dot on 12 and shade to the left. Alright, so hopefully we got that all right. You can see and check the work up here. And we can move on to the lesson today. So today we're just combining these two. So it'll be like an x over 2 plus 6 is greater than 8. It's not very hard. We just have to do 2 steps instead of just 1, right? So I can erase this. So example number 1. 2x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 8. So, what's the first thing we need to do here to isolate our x? First, we want to add 4 to both sides. This is going to give us 2x is greater than or equal to 12. Well, now it's easy, right? Divide by 2 to both sides. And we have x, it wasn't negative, so we keep our sign. 12 divided by 2, 6. When we graph, we have 6, 7, 5. Close dot on 6, and we shade to the right. So it's not too bad, right? Just 2 steps instead of 3, or 2 steps instead of 1. we're going to have example number dos. We're going to have negative x over 6 plus 7 is less than 9. So first thing we need to do is subtract 7 from both sides. Remember, subtracting, we don't have to switch the sign, so be careful. That's a common mistake, right? Don't mix up subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division. So we keep the sign right now. 9 minus 7 gives us 2, and we bring down the negative x over 6. Our next step is we have to multiply each side by a negative 6. By a negative 6. Well, what happens to our sign when we multiply or divide by a negative? We have to switch it around. 2 times a negative 6 gives us a negative 12. And then we just bring down our x. So we have x is greater than negative 12. We don't have to graph it. You guys have been pros at graphing by now. So we can just leave it like this. Your homework is going to ask you to do both. So your entire assignment, you might be graphing, you might not. Just pay attention to the directions, please. So the next one, we have example 3. We have negative 4x minus 1. Is less than 7. So again, our first step is to isolate our x. We're going to want to add 1 to both sides. This is going to give us 8. In this, we bring down negative 4x. And finally, to isolate our x, we want to divide both sides by a negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. And when we divide by negative 4, we switch our sign around. Left with our x. And this is going to give us negative 2. We'll graph this one and we won't graph the next one just for the fun of it. So we'll have negative 2. 1 greater is going to give us negative 1. 1 less is going to give us negative 3. An open dot on 2, and we shade to the right. Very good. It's all looking very good. Alright, so number 4. Example number 4, we have 6. 6 is is greater than or equal to 5 minus x over 3. Alright, so this one's kind of different because our x is on the right side of the equation, not the left side, right? But we do it the exact same way. So how do we isolate our x? Well, the first step, we want to subtract 5 from both sides. So we're going to subtract 5, subtract 5. 6 minus 5 gives us a 1. Keep our sign is greater than or equal to negative x over 3. Then we have to multiply each side by a negative 3. Right, this negative 3 is going to cancel with this and the negative because it was a negative 3. We're left with our x is greater than or equal to 1. But remember, we want to put this in graphing form. Oh, did anyone catch my mistake? We forgot to switch the sign around. Right, so when we divide by a negative, we switch the sign around. Yeah. See, it's super easy to miss. We have to be super, super careful when working with that. So, we want to put this back into graphing form, so we want x on the left side, 1 on the right side. Switch the sign, right? Make sure it's still opening towards the x. This is graphing form. And this is the form I want on the test. If you don't put it in that form, you'll get marked half credit. All right, it's very important we put it x on the left side and the constants on the right side. All right, so that one was what, 1 step, 2 step, a 3 step, right? We had to subtract by 5, multiply by 3, and then turn it around. So that one was a really good one. So the next 2 are going to be a U-try. And these ones are a little bit more complicated, but remember, let's remember the basics of doing 1 step at a time, and you guys will be okay. So we have 6x minus 5 for a U-try. We have 6x minus 5 is less than 2x plus 11. And we want to graph this one. We want to graph. So you guys could try it and then we can do it together. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Okay, so let's try this one. So we want to isolate our x value. The first thing we want to tell ourselves is, well, where's the bigger x on which side of the equation? In this instance, we have the bigger x on the left side, so we want to subtract 2x from each side. So we'll subtract 2x, subtract 2x. When we do that, we will have 4x minus 5 is less than 11. Well, now it looks like what we've been doing, right? The 2-step. We have to add 5 to both sides. 11 plus 5 gives us 16 is less than 4x. Next, divide by 4. And we will have x is less than 16 divided by 4 gives us 4. And when we graph this, we will have 4, 5, and 3 in open dot on 4 and shade to the left. Perfect. Checking our work, is 3 less than 4? Yes. Yes, 3 is less than 4. So we know we graphed it correctly. Alright, so how do we do? Thumbs up, we get it right? Cool. Cool. Alright, so the second of U-try. I don't want you guys to graph, so no graphing this one. We will have 3 times a quantity of 2x plus 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Minus 1 is greater than or equal to 10x minus 11. So try that one. Remember PEMDAS. Right? We have so the first step, hopefully, is you saw the parentheses and a constant outside of the parentheses, and you said, hey, we'll have to distribute this 3 to the 2x minus 1. Right? That would be a really good first step. All right. So let's try this one. So we're going to take this 3 and we're going to multiply it by the 2x and the negative 1. 3 times the 2x will give us 6x. 3 times the negative 1 will give us a negative 3. Is greater than or equal to 10x minus 11. Well, now our bigger x's are on the right side of the equation, right? So let's isolate our x. We want to subtract 6x, subtract 6x. And in the same time, I'm going to add 11 to each side, right? We're going to add 11, add 11. So 6x cancels with the 6x. The 11s cancel. So we will have negative 3 plus 11 will give us a positive 8. Is greater than or equal to 10x minus 6x will give us positive 4x. Right, so we just did 2 steps right there. Kind of easier to not have as many steps, right? Could do it all in one. And now we want to divide by 4. And this is going to give us x is greater than, let's see, 2. So we have 2 is greater than or equal to x. But is that in graphing form? No. We want to put it into graphing form. So, graphing form, we want the x and the 2, and it's open to the 2. So our final answer is x is less than or equal to 2. Alright, so this is multi-step inequalities. Like I said, it's kind of combining lessons 2.1 to 2.3, which is really nice because you guys have had practice adding and dividing and multiplying and subtracting, right? All of these inequalities and really paying attention to the sign. Like I said, I messed up on one of the signs today. It's super easy, but we have to pay attention to it. All right, so your homework for today, that concludes the lesson. So your homework for today is going to be on page 77. Page 77, and we have numbers 7 through 28. So, have a good day, guys. If you have any questions on the lesson, please email me or come to the office hours between 2 and 3 on Zoom. This is super important that you understand this. It will be on the test. It will be on the test in the quiz. So the quiz is next class period because we're 2.4. Yeah, the quiz is next class period. So please study. Please come to the Zoom. I know you guys can do it. All right? Have a nice day.